Alright Knicks fans, we are officially entering the part of the season where realistic moves start to matter. Not splashy, not franchise altering, but moves around the margins that actually help you win playoff games. Because over the last 24 to 48 hours, multiple respected cap analysts and reporters have all pointed toward the same idea. The Knicks are actively exploring small to mid-tier upgrades, and one name that keeps popping up is Naji Marshall. But that's not the only thing. We're also getting fresh confirmation that New York is still monitoring Jose Alvarado, still checking in on Yves, Missi, and just as importantly, not shopping Karl-Anthony Towns. So bring everything together because today we're talking about why Naji Marshall is a very real Knicks target, how a deal would actually work financially, why this would help the Knicks cap situation, and how this connects to Alvarado, Missi, and the bigger deadline picture. This conversation started on a recent podcast featuring Yossi Goslin and Sam Quinn, two people who do not just throw out names around casually. They floated the idea that Naji Marshall could potentially be acquired for 2 or 3 second-round picks. That's it, no first-rounders, no core players, and no headline move. And here's the key part, Dallas is actively looking to shed salary. That matters because it means the Mavericks are motivated. This would not be about winning the trade, and it would be mostly about financial flexibility and roster balancing. Now, because of how the contracts line up, this would almost certainly need to be a 3-team structure, not a straight Knicks and Mavs deal. The framework that's been floated looks something like this. The Knicks receive Naji Marshall, and outgoing from New York is Pacome Dadier, Gershon Yabusele, and someone like Ariel Hukporti, with Hukporti's small contract likely being routed to a third team as part of a salary dump. Now here's the part that Knicks fans should really pay attention to. From a cap standpoint, this move actually helps New York. The Knicks would roughly save $1.3 million in salary, on top of the approximately $150K that they're already under the second apron. That extra breathing room matters, especially if New York wants flexibility to make another move, convert a two-way, or adjust later in the season. And yes, the Knicks will temporarily be down to 12 standard contracts, but teams are allowed to operate below the 14-player minimum for 14 consecutive days or 28 total days over the season, so there's no penalty and it actually creates optionality. Now let's talk about the basketball side, because this is not just about money. Naji Marshall defends multiple positions, plays with physicality, knows how to operate without needing touches, also has a very good floater game, and yes, has historically been a Knicks killer. He fits cleanly into a wing rotation without disrupting usage for Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby, and Towns. This would be a save-the-season move. It would be a stabilizer, a guy who can guard, cut, hit open shots, and survive playoff minutes. And according to Big Nick Energy on X, they said, quote, "Sources have confirmed that the New York Knicks maintain genuine and ongoing interest in acquiring Dallas Mavericks' Naji Marshall. While no deal appears imminent, the Knicks view him as a legitimate target ahead of the upcoming trade deadline." That wording matters. Genuine and ongoing interest is not fluff. At the same time, Chris Haynes is reporting that the Knicks and Rockets remain interested in Jose Alvarado, and Michael Scotto added even more. He said, quote, "I did hear the Knicks were not only calling on Alvarado of the Pelicans, but also Yves, Missi." Jake Fisher then confirmed. He said, quote, "Yves, Missi seems to be generating the greatest interest among the players for which the Pelicans have been testing the market." So what does that tell us? The Knicks are clearly targeting these 3 things: point of attack defense with Alvarado, ball handling toughness, and backup center insurance with Missi. This isn't random, it's targeted, and Stefan Bondy framed this perfectly as a, quote, "move around the margins." His mock trade was this: Knicks would get Jose Alvarado and Yves, Missi, and Pelicans get Gershon Yabusele, Pacome Dadier, and a second-round pick. That would be an amazing deal for the Knicks. Now, if I were the Pelicans, I would want at least 1 or 2 more second-round picks, preferably to get to 3. But overall, this satisfies multiple Knicks goals. Number 1, it adds toughness and ball handling. It also adds a needed backup center, at least someone that's more reliable than Ariel Hukporti, and clears players who are not in the rotation and maintains cap discipline. And importantly, at the cost of only 1 or 2 second-round picks potentially. And before the comments go crazy, let's be clear. Michael Scotto also reported this, quote, "Everything I gathered is that the Knicks are not having active conversations on trading Karl-Anthony Towns." This lines up with everything else we've heard. The Knicks are not blowing it up, they're not panicking, and they're fine-tuning. So when you zoom out, this all connects. Naji Marshall, Jose Alvarado, and Yves, Missi. For Marshall, that would definitely be a tougher trade because he just dropped 30 points last night. But these guys aren't stars in general, they're solutions, and as the deadline gets closer, this is the tier of move that New York seems most focused on. So let me ask you this: if the Knicks could land Naji Marshall for seconds while saving cap space, do you pull the trigger? Drop your thoughts below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and sub to the channel for more Knicks news and updates you will not want to miss. It's been KNYT here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.